My name is Amber Renty. I am a 43-year-old African American woman living and born and raised in Long Beach, California. Been a single mom most of my life. Student, of course. Also work part-time for a nonprofit organization. Um, First of all, I also, my pronouns are she, her. First of all, I do want to start off by saying that I am happy and proud to be not only a woman, but a Black African American woman as well. Um, how has race, class, and gender roles influenced my life? Well, first off, let me start by saying that with, like I said before, I am a proud to be Black woman. And I was raised by two amazing Black women as well. I was raised by my mom and my grandmother. My my mother's mom, which is my grandmother. My mom broke up with my biological dad when I was just a baby because he wasn't living a safe life. I won't go into full details, but he wasn't living a life that was safe for himself or for the rest of us, and especially having a young baby, which was me, in the home, but in the household. So my mom, as much as she loved him, she broke up with him and made him leave. And like I said, my mom and grandma raised me. And my mom, even though she knew my dad could no longer be there or be with her, she was still nervous about how she was going to raise me as a single mother. And my grandmother, I remember this story because both my mom and grandmother told me this story many times. And my grandmother told her, "You can do it." My mom was like, "How am I going to do it?" My mom was a working woman. She had a full-time job, a car, her own apartment, her own home, that she rented. And my grandmother told her, "You can do it. You will do it." And not in a demanding way, but she encouraged her and told her, "You can do this. You got this." And of course, with my grandmother's help and motivation as well. Um, because my grandmother had been a mother who raised 5 children successfully. So she said if she could raise 5 kids, you can raise your daughter without him. So I was, like I said, that's how I can say I was raised by 2 strong Black queens. May they both rest in peace. They both have long passed away. My grandmother passed away when I was 17 years old, just a few months before, just a few months after I graduated high school. She helped raise me. I was her youngest grandchild. And my mother, she passed away unexpectedly 15 years ago. And everything they instilled in me, they're very wise women. Both Tauruses, might I add. And even though they've passed, what they instilled in me and taught me as they raised me stuck with me forever. And because of that, I have been able to raise my daughter, who is now a strong, beautiful, educated 22-year-old Black female who's about to graduate from Cal Poly Pomona with her bachelor's degree in sociology and social work. And she's going to pursue her a master's degree in another school. She's still waiting to hear back from the 3 colleges she applied for. So that was just a little intro background. Um, like I said, I love being a woman. I'm glad to be a woman and a Black woman. Very proud of that. But with that being said, there's also a lot of ups and downs and trials of tribulations of being a woman and a woman of color, a Black woman. I feel like women in general aren't protected. Yes, we have, you know, won a lot of fights when it comes to equality and women's rights, when it comes in the workplace, and when it comes to our bodies, and just in general. But, however, we're still fighting a lot of fights. We're still not being protected when it comes to our bodies, when it comes to sexually, and when it comes to our voices being heard, when it comes to us not being treated, or us fighting to not being treated as just a piece of meat for men to gawk at and taken advantage of and just diminish. There have been many times where I'm walking down the street and it doesn't matter how you're dressed. I've been fully clothed and fully dressed, and I've had men catcall at me from their cars as they're walking by. It's just very disrespectful. There's a way to respectfully compliment a woman. I remember when I was walking my daughter to school back when she was in elementary school. It was something that we both enjoyed every day, our everyday ritual of me walking her to school and picking her up from school and walking her home together. And I remember one day I was walking her to school, and she was just an elementary school kid at the time. And some guys yelled at me. They whistled at me and made statements about my body. And I was angry. I was very pissed off, and I couldn't hold my content. And I tried to, because my baby girl was with me. And I don't remember exactly what I yelled, but it upset me, because how dare you have the audacity to yell obscene things with my small child walking with me, a small little female. And I remember I started crying in front of my daughter, and she's like, "Don't cry, mommy, it's okay." And I took her to school, and after that I cried even more. I remember venting on Facebook about it to my Facebook friends and to my friends that I know personally. And to this day, I still remember that day. And it still happens to me. And now it happens to my daughter. That's just an example. Something else happened to me as far as me being a woman and a Black woman. Last year, this was my first week of starting Cal State Dominguez Hills. I was on the bus, and this Caucasian man got on the bus. Keep in mind, I was the only person on the bus at the time. It was just me and the bus driver. And I really feel like he targeted me, because he sat behind me, turned up his music loud on his phone. And keep in mind, it's illegal to have your music or your phone playing loudly on the bus. You're supposed to wear earphones. And I nicely turned around and asked him, "Sir," because I was on the phone, "could you please turn down your music? I can't hear. I'm on an important phone call." And he said something rude to me, and he said, "No, I'm not going to turn it off. If you have a problem with it, tell the bus driver." And that's exactly what I went to do. I walked up to the bus driver, and As he saw that I was going to tell the bus driver what happened, the Caucasian man, he could have gotten off the bus through the back entrance. Instead, he purposely walks past me and he faces me and makes sure he presses his front body to mine and rubs his body to mine as he walks off the bus. And as he gets off the bus, he says F you, NIGGR. He called me a nigger. And I don't even think that that's what upset me the most. It's the fact that I got off the bus. I usually don't do this, but I was so outraged that I got off the bus and yelled at him back. I didn't call him any racial name. I just yelled at him. I said F you, and he spit at me. He didn't spit on me, but he spit on the front window of the bus. And I got back on the bus, and the bus driver, instead of him asking if I was okay or yelling at the man, he yelled at me. He blamed me. He said, and I get it, I shouldn't have gotten off the bus because it could have been a dangerous situation. But he cared more about scolding me instead of asking me if I was okay. If I was all right. He didn't apologize for the way the guy treated me. And it's protocol usually for a bus driver to pull over. When something like that happens, they're supposed to pull over and call dispatch and contact their staff or their superior and let them know what happened so they can report the person that did it. He was supposed to report that guy for not only yelling a racial term to me, but he spit on the bus window. He didn't do anything. He yelled at me and scolded me, and you should have done this and that. And I'm like, well, that's what I was doing. I went up to the bus. I went up to tell you what was happening. You shouldn't have got off the bus. You should have ignored him. It was just everything but acknowledging the wrong in the man who called me the N-word and basically damaged his property, the bus property. And I was crying. He went, and I even called my daughter to talk to her to calm me down, and she could hear the bus driver yelling at me. And I kept telling the bus driver, why are you still yelling at me? I've long past stopped talking to you. I'm talking to my daughter. And it's just the bus driver was also a person of color, and that's what hurt me the most. And also another black woman, she had got on the bus and sat right across from me as I was crying, and she didn't try to console me, didn't try to ask me if I was okay. As another black woman, and it took me several weeks to get over this. I'm still not fully over it because every time I talk about it, this is the reaction. I even shared it on Facebook, a video about my experience right after I got off the bus. I almost didn't go to class. I had gotten all the way to Cal State Dominguez, and I almost didn't go to class, but I knew I had to because it was my first week. I posted my experience as awareness, and most of my friends and family were supportive, but I had one family member, I'm not going to say who he is. He, of course, left me a message that wasn't supportive. He basically said, they're just words, they're just words. He didn't say it in an encouraging way. It just made me feel like I was supposed to be quiet. Another example of a male relative telling me I should have been quiet. I had shared this experience to say that, once again, this is an example of me being a woman and a black woman and not being protected even by another person of color who was the bus driver, who was supposed to protect me and see if I was okay. And he didn't report the experience. I ended up getting off his bus and reporting it. I don't think anything anything helped by calling and reporting it or reporting him. Um, I think we as women have some advantages, but unfortunately, I feel like how we look and us being females gets us certain advantages. But like I said, we also aren't protected. And I feel like we really do need to be more protected as women, as minorities. I feel like if I'm a Black woman sharing my experience, I should be valued as that. And my experience shouldn't be dismissed. It shouldn't be, oh, well, this happens to everyone. We as women aren't protected. We need to be valued more. We should be able to stand up and speak up for ourselves without being stereotyped. Uh, I shouldn't be stereotyped as an angry Black woman for speaking up for myself. I shouldn't be stereotyped as ignorant or ghetto or combative or aggressive. Once again, there are so many other stories I can share that have happened to me. That's not the first time I've been called the NIGGER word, but that was the first time that I had someone victim blame me, and by someone of another of a person of color. Um, so I am gonna conclude this with, once again, I am proud to be a Black woman. I have accomplished so much. I still have a lot to learn. I feel like we're a work in progress every day. There's still a lot of life lessons to learn every day for the rest of our lives. But I am proud to be a Black woman because I was raised by two incredible, amazing Black women. And I have raised an amazing young Black woman who's continuing to do great things. And I'm continuing to do great things. And my work is not done. And we as women, our work is never done. Um, I hope this explains everything that was asked for in this assignment. Thank you for allowing me to speak my truth.